Let's switch gears now, everyone, and take a look at the debate over mode of primaries as highlighted in some of the conversations generated in the meeting by the tripartite committee put together by President Muhammadu Buhari in his own political party, APC. It was chaired by the Vice President, Yemi Osinbajo. It was obvious that some leaders of the APC, with majority of the governors in this category, don't agree with the position of some lawmakers who believe that red primaries should be the only mode of election in the party as established now in the amendment to the Electoral Act, which was passed. Coincidentally, it was passed on the day the tripartite committee met, and the disagreement came on in that meeting. To get some of the perspectives, I'm now being joined by the Deputy Leader of the House of Representatives, Honorable Peter Akpatason, is here with us in our studio to give us perspectives from the lawmakers' point of view. Thank you so much, Leader, for joining us tonight.
You're welcome. Thank you very much for having me.
It does look like a battle between lawmakers who are struggling to survive or get a return ticket and the governors who are not ready to relinquish what has been termed as their control over the structure of the party. Well, it looks like you may be losing out as far as the position, your position is concerned. You wanted direct primaries, but the governors and some leaders of the party have intervened and they said, look, you cannot have your way.
Well, in the first place, it is not a tussle between lawmakers and the governors. It is beyond that. The duty of the legislative arm of government is to make laws for the good governance of the nation. What we have done is to look at what the preponderance of the opinion of the people is. What do the people want? And we try to give to the people what they want. Now, you will recall that Mr. President has said on several occasions that for democracy to grow in this country, we have to return political parties to the people. And we have to involve Nigerians, to participate at all levels of politics. Mass participation is best guaranteed when you adopt a practice like the direct primary. If you do otherwise, if for instance you say it is the delegates, you may have maximum of maybe 25 to 30 in a whole world, that will determine the fate of any person vying for any elective position, beginning from the councillor to the presidency. That is what it is. But however, direct primaries allows every card-carrying member of a political party to participate in taking the decision that will give an individual the power to contest election on the platform of the party. Don't forget that the moment somebody wins election, he has a minimum of 4 years, to preside over that office and determine what happens to the constituency, the benefits that the constituency and the people can get. Honorable. And so it is important that there's mass participation, and a lot of people are involved in the process of taking such very serious decisions.
In this matter, which is very serious, I'd like to ask some very quick questions. The first being that democratic process across the globe demands multiplicity of opinions and options.
I agree.
So when you put in the Constitution, in the amendment to the Electoral Act, that is only one mode of primary that is going to be allowable for political parties, is that democratic?
It's a popular opinion. Democracy is about popular opinions. And it is intended to...
multiplicity of options.
Of course, I agree with you totally. Yeah, there are other cases where a lot of options were, presented. But when it comes to this primary, it was between delegates and the option of, direct primaries. And majority of lawmakers decided to go for the a popular option because of the desire to involve more Nigerians in the process of taking such decision.
Putting it in the Electoral Act, for example, to just say, choose any political party can choose in between, because look, now it's going to be a very major logistical nightmare for INEC and even the political party. and even Nigerians, because whenever any political primary is happening, you almost will have a shutdown of the country or the economy, just like you have it in a general election.
That's not true.
I've monitored several of the direct primaries. I've done that in Lagos. I've done that. I've monitored also in Osun State, and these are areas, states that have done this, and even during your presidential primary election. And one of the things that I found out, Honorable, which you would like to clarify, is the fact that if you look at the figures of the primary, it's usually higher than the figure in the general election. It doesn't tally.
Well, there could be several reasons for that.
So you have more people in the political party than the electorate itself. Is that what happens?
Not necessarily so. In the primaries, everybody has the opportunity of coming out. All you need to do is just hold your card, and you are accredited. You go straight to go and vote. During the voting proper, you talk about logistic problem for INEC and the rest of them. I don't think that there's big logistic problem in the primaries, because you are going to your unit, and it's easy to just move down to your unit headquarters, for instance, or your ward headquarters. It's no big logistic issue. The agencies that are participating, they have their offices in INEC, for instance, have their offices in every headquarter. And in the general election anyway, they equally send people out. You don't send the number of people you are sending in general election to a primary. The last one we did in Edo State was the same option A4. That was what we did in Edo State. Option
A4, for a lot of people who don't know, just basically require you to key up.
Sure.
And probably a picture of the candidate. You queue
somebody,
up
behind the picture.
Behind, so you count, or the agent of that candidate.
Exactly.
And you count. So you think that is simple?
Perfectly. It is simple. It is more democratic. It gives people better option.
Why do you think the governors don't agree with your position?
Well, they talk about a couple of issues, and I think the most important one is that, according to them, is that it's going to involve a lot of logistics, like you mentioned. But I don't think that because of logistics, if at all it's an issue, that we should change what we have agreed to be the best option. Do you understand? So the governors actually believe that consensus is no longer possible if it is option A4, if it is a direct primary. And I think a lot of governors would rather prefer consensus. Consensus is a situation where party leaders come together and say, out of 4 candidates that are vying for this position, this time around, let us leave it for Shehu Kibaloye. And then you talk to everybody, and they come out to do the formal nomination.
But that has not worked well, because a lot of people...
It is not working.
Because the consensus...
It is not working.
Yeah. I mean, it's obviously because it's torn your party apart.
It is not working.
On a larger note, Honorable, is the fact that whatever is happening in the APC is now going to be affecting the generality of the concept of the Electoral Act amendment, because the conversation and the disagreement in your party, when the lawmakers agree and amended the Electoral Act, it does look like it might jeopardize the assent of the president to the Electoral Act.
In the first place, this is not a conversation between APC and APC members and APC governors. No.
But it does look like that, because that was
the decision that was taken. The decision that was taken, that was not the first tripartite meeting. We actually had to, and I attended both. You understand me? It was meant to harmonize our views within the party. But don't forget that that is not what we ultimately decide or determine what happens. It is the generality of legislators that come together. PDP, APC, APUGA, and the rest of them. We took the decision together. It was not APC, legislators' decision. It was the House and the Senate's decision. Do you understand me? So let us not give that coloration of APC fighting APC. That is not the case.
The
lawmakers have made a law.
We have internalized the argument.
We had our own meeting. Others may have had their meetings that didn't receive the same amount of attention. You understand me? So our internal issue should not be, generalized for the whole country.
Your internal issue, Honorable, I'm asking, don't you think that it will jeopardize the assent of the president?
It has no way of jeopardizing that. I trust that Mr. President is going to give assent because he's an advocate of popular participation in politics. He's an advocate of empowering the people, the real people, those people who stay with us, those people who will come out and stay from the beginning of electoral process to the end, those people who will go and campaign with empty stomachs. These are the people that will be disenfranchised when you make a few persons, to have the whole authority and all the power to determine who will preside over a constituency for 4 years. Mr. President is a Democrat that believes in popular participation, and I'm convinced that he's going to give assent.
Some of your colleagues believe that there is a stronghold of the political process in the parties, especially in your party, and that some group of people, just because it's not all of the states that APC govern. So you have states that you just have leaders, and there are now differences. There are squabbles between ministers in your APC control state and governors. There are leaders, minister, and some other leaders that are not happy. The primaries, the congresses have disintegrated your party largely.
That is not true. Very far from the truth.
That's what we have been reporting.
Very far from the truth.
I'm not sure you are on the ground everywhere, but I have reporters, I have colleagues who have reported your your congresses, and there are a lot of issues. Osun said, should I mention to you? Osun said there are issues. Lagos said there are issues. Akwa Ibom, there are three different
please tell me any party that did congresses without issues.
No,
whether here in Nigeria,
you said that there was
whether here in Nigeria or in America or
I'm
in
saying
Britain,
that there
tell
are
me one
issues
country.
after your congresses.
There's nowhere you have humans come together in that number.
But you just said there are no issues, and I'm proving to you that
I never said that there are no issues at all. I didn't say so.
Your party.
Not at all. In every congresses, you must have issues. Because we are no inanimate objects. We are humans. We have our different, disposition to things. We come together. We can't get it 100%, but there must be, at the end of the day, you sort out issues. So if you think that it will be possible someday that in a big country like ours, a massive party like ours, with so much followership, you do your congresses and there's no issue, that would be hypothetical. That would be daydreaming.
What do you think is the way out?
The way out is for us to allow the process of this amendment to take its full course, and then we go back and see how we can implement the new direction. We have had changes in the past that never consumed this country, did not consume the party. This is particularly a positive change that the people have been yearning for. I can assure you that our people will be happy. So let me tell you, if you do it through direct primary, you can then predict what you will be able to do in the main election. Because you go around, you meet these people, not going to sit down with some big boys in the name of leaders. And then at the end of the day, some 20 to 25 people will come and choose candidates for the whole world. But now the entire party members will participate. And at the end of the day, they will all come out to vote.
All right. So it's now a point where the governors can have their say, but the lawmakers are having their way.
Again, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that.
You may not agree, but isn't that the obvious thing?
Both the governors and the lawmakers are still members of the same party. You understand? We have said that this is what we think is right. And some of the governors, did not think so. Right. I'm not sure that it's every legislator that agreed with it. You understand me?
Was a majority position?
Majority of all the parties, PDP, APC, and the rest of them. Majority decision is
Honorable. Yeah. That's the Deputy Leader of the House of Representatives, Honorable Peter Akpatason. Thank you so much for your intervention and actually telling us what the position of the National Assembly is on this. Thank you so much for coming tonight.
My pleasure, Chief.
I appreciate it.